All right, we're back. This is Rage in a Cage with BamBam and Schwaggs. I'm your host, Frank BamBam Horak. Ooh, with me, as always, my co-host, Mikey Schwaggs.
Hey Frank, how's it going? And with us as always, producing, Tough Tony. Tough Tony's got a couple announcements to make. He always does.
Jeez.
Oh, come on, guys. You know we always got some announcements to make.
Let's
Once
hear those
again,
announcements.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, both at Rage in the Cage 6, which is the letter...
It's the number 6, not the letter.
6, Rage in the Cage, number 6.
So it's not the letter 6.
Not
it's
the letter 6,
All right, good.
the number 6. And follow us. Oh, it's too... I don't like the show in the morning, guys. And we got a Gmail account, too, Rage in the Cage 6, which is the number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6, not the letter.
And, send us your comments, questions, anything, something,
Has anybody sent any questions or comments
I've
since
got
we started?
no emails yet. No, I have some Twitter followers.
Have you been looking?
I have been. It's
All
on
right,
my iPhone.
I have a feeling the first question is going to ask if you wore a helmet when you went to school. That'll be the
You're a
first
funny
question.
guy, Frank. You're a funny guy.
Well, we all know the answer.
Yes.
Nah, I didn't.
He rode the short bus.
Let's talk about these Strikeforce fights. And we previewed the main 3 fights.
Yeah,
So let's talk about those.
All right, frankly, yeah. Let's
right,
talk about that.
let's
You don't
get
know what
into
to do
that.
with your hands,
I don't.
apparently.
Hey, Frank.
All right,
put
let's
it in your pocket.
get right into that
You don't want
first.
them Alright.
That first matchup. All right,
Kazu Misaki
let's keep it professional
versus
over there,
Paul
Tony.
Daly. Yes, come on.
You too. Kazuma Saki versus Paul Daly. And
I had Misaki, you had Daly.
yeah, and some
It was a great fight. It was.
some may view it as a controversial decision.
I would not view it as that, but
That's because you had Misaki.
No, regardless, I thought Misaki won, but we'll get into that a little later on. It was a great back and forth battle, no question about it. It had great stand up, it had some good takedowns, good takedown attempts, good takedown defense. It turned very bloody.
Yeah.
Misaki had a gash on his forehead.
Big gash.
So it was actually, it was a very good fight.
Yeah, it definitely was. Daly, he actually landed more strikes in 2 of the 3 rounds than Misaki. It may be
But I don't know
not that
I think,
much.
I think Misaki though landed the more effective
Yes,
strikes.
he didn't. He
He
didn't
looked
land.
very good at 170. It was his first
yeah.
fight. I mean, talk about that was his 39th professional fight.
He
First
looked
time
good.
ever at 170. And it looked like where he should be fighting the whole time. So
Yeah,
he looked very good. And Daly did land more of the strikes as you mentioned, but I thought Misaki though had more effective strikes though.
Oh yeah, he landed the more powerful strikes.
He was
Without
backing,
question.
you don't see
And
Paul
he-
Daly
yeah.
back up a lot and shy from striking. That's
That was
exactly
another
what he
thing I was
doing.
going to say. He constantly kept the pressure on Daly, and he was just constantly in his face. Daly attempted 8 takedowns, the
Yeah.
most I think ever in his career.
Absolutely. You never see that.
You never see that with Daly. He usually wants to stand and bang with you
Yeah,
in
he
a
wants
fight.
to try to knock you out, but I think that's credit to Misaki though, where he was, I wouldn't say dominating the stand-up, but he was definitely winning the stand-up.
No.
Even though if you look at the numbers, Daly might have landed more. I think Misaki though was
the
definitely
numbers he
and then
landed.
it's not. Yeah,
He
exactly.
landed 3 more strikes, I think,
Exactly.
in one
It
round and
wasn't-
like 4 that in the
Yeah,
other. It wasn't that
an
much.
overwhelming amount.
No, not by any means.
That's why I thought when you said controversial decision, I had Misaki winning the first 2 rounds easily, and then the 3rd round, if you want, you can give it to Daly, but still, it was 2
If
rounds.
you want, you got to give Daly that 3rd round.
I guess you can give it to him the 3rd round, but
Cut him
still,
open. He was.
Misaki though won that fight. I thought. I was shocked that it went to a split decision. I thought it was clearly 2 rounds to 1.
No, I mean you could argue it going to either fighter.
It was though a great fight, but it was a big win for Misaki.
Yeah,
It was,
Misaki looked great. He really did at 170.
you look at that welterweight division in the Strikeforce. There's not a lot of top contenders.
No,
there,
you got
that was a
Woodley
big win
now.
for him.
Woodley facing Marquardt
Yeah,
probably
for the
title.
vacant title. That's exactly what the
vacant?
fight. Vacant title. And
So
Misaki-
now, who knows where Masaki's going to be?
well, I like to see him fight Tariq Stafind. Wow.
Tarek Safadine?
That's how you say it. Yes, that's how I like to see him fight.
That would be a good fight, actually.
I know.
I agree,
That's
and,
why I said it.
Daly,
Well, Daly, listen,
he's now 2-3 in
2-3 in
Strikeforce.
Strikeforce. I'm not a big Daly guy. I
You
think
want to
he-
see him get cut.
I would like to see him just go fight in Bama, and I think that's where he's better suited. I mean, you look to him in UFC, it didn't work out there for him. And then you look at Strikeforce, he was supposed to go there and dominate because
He's
he's
just-
supposedly lesser competition.
I think he's
but
too cocky
just-
of a fighter.
Yeah, he was talking about how he should be fighting Marquardt for the title, even though he lost to Woodley.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he would be fighting over
That makes
Woodley.
no sense.
And he was, looking past Misaki, thought he was a nobody. He was going to, so I think Daly should just go to Bama and fight there. That's where he has more success anyway.
Yeah.
Look at him, only 2-3 in Strikeforce, so it's not like he's, doing much there. So, yeah, I would like to see him go to Bama and just fight there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his time might be up in Strikeforce, and eventually Strikeforce is going to be done in by UFC. And when that happens, we know he's not coming back to the UFC.
and he
Dana
shouldn't.
White already said there's no shot at him coming back, no matter what.
No, and I agree with that. I don't think he should be coming back.
No, that was ridiculous what he did in that fight against Koscheck. Yeah. Well, let's get into the next fight.
Lightweight fight, and it was
Big lightweight fight, actually.
This
was a number one contender match.
As it turned out to, again, with Strikeforce, there's always you pretty much only got to win one fight to be a number one contender.
Actually, you might have to lose a fight to get a number one contender.
That happens too, but it was a good fight. The Thompsons, at the end of the fight, he thought his performance was crap. He didn't like it. He said it was somewhat of a boring fight, but I can't blame Thompson's strategy. Nunes was the better striker. Thompson, you've been out over a year, so you got to do what you got to do to win. And, he was obviously the much better wrestler, much better grappler. So that's what he did. He kept taking Nunes down and doing a little ground and pound. Obviously, Nunes wanted to keep the fight standing because he was the better stand-up guy. Obviously, the fight would have been a little more exciting if it was a stand-up fight, but I think Thompson was a little too hard on himself, saying his performance was crap and he was, it was boring, and he apologized and whatnot. But listen, you haven't fought in over a year. It looks like the winner of that fight, as you said, was most likely going to be a number one contender match. Even though I personally don't agree with it, but.
Well, who else are you going to give it to?
Well, I know you don't want a guy like Melendez just waiting around, but I think Pat Healy against Thompson should fight. And that the number one contender then should.
Yeah, Pat Healy had.
I don't think Thompson, after being out a year, you win one fight against KJ Nunes and now you fight.
Yeah, and it's not like Nunes has been looking dominant.
He was only 3-2 in Strikeforce himself, so that's why I would rather see Thompson fight like a guy like Pat Healy and then have
And Healy actually had a pretty big victory that night too.
Yeah, he had an impressive win, his fourth win in a row. So that's why I like to see those two fight. But as you say, with Strikeforce, with they don't have the roster isn't like the UFC, so pretty much all it takes is 1 or 2 wins, and you're fighting for a title. And when you have a guy, their most talented fighter is Melendez. You don't want him just sitting around. So I guess I can understand now. It looks like Thompson will be it'll be the rubber match. Both of them have a win against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Who knows? After this match with Thompson, Melendez might be coming over to the UFC because there's honestly not that many people left for him to face in that lightweight division in Strikeforce. And in this fight with Thompson, as we said, ring rust was going to be the question, and he showed none of it. He really did. He showed that he had good cardio. We knew
that going in, even with the year layoff and the ring rust, that the advantage cardio was going to go to Thompson anyway.
And he actually, he actually outstruck Nunes on the feet, and he got a couple of takedowns, and he was able to control the fight throughout all 3 rounds. It was I wouldn't say a dominant performance by Thompson, but it was a pretty good performance by him.
It was a clear-cut win, and I thought he was a little hard on himself, saying it was crap.
Yeah, I don't think it was. It wasn't a crappy performance.
Do what you got to do to win, especially when you haven't fought in over a year.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Obviously, you want to go out there and put on a show for these fans every time you go out there and fight.
Like to do a first-round highlight.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get that every fight. You got to use game plans and strategies. That's what it's a sport. It's not. We're not. They don't go out there to just put on a show for everybody. They go out there to win. That's their job.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just get angry when people. I get mad when people boo and they start booing during a fight. Why are you gonna boo? They're out there. They're putting on the fight for you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's just it's ridiculous.
We'll see. It looks like it'll be Thompson on Melendez 3, so we'll see how.
And that should be a good fight.
It should be a good fight. Absolutely.
All right, let's
go
to
the ladies. Yes.
What you were waiting for?
For only a 1-round fight, it was a great 1-round fight.
Oh my goodness!
It had it had everything that you could want as an MMA fan, and it was a great fight for the ladies.
Yeah, I am absolutely terrified of this woman, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I said that on the last show. It scares me, and that hasn't changed one bit.
Oh my!
But to Tate's credit, though, she showed some great toughness. After that, she got taken down. I'm not kidding.
She came out.
Yeah, she got taken down.
Fire.
That first arm bar. You thought, all right, fight's over. She's going to snap her arm, and that's it. But she got out of it, got the fight back up to the feet. She showed some very good stand-up. She showed her good grappling skills. And it was a good back-and-forth fight. But again, for a 1-round fight, it was the longest fight by far for Rousey. I think it went 4:27. Almost got out of the first round for once. But, to Tate's credit, yeah, she showed great toughness. But it was just Rousey's judo skills and the armbar submissions were just too much.
Yeah. Tate came out. They really don't like each other.
No,
they had some bad blood between them.
That wasn't just for show to try to hype the fight.
No, not at all. They really dislike each other. Yeah. Tate came out quickly. She was throwing combos. And she actually caught Rousey.
Oh, yeah, she definitely.
In the beginning of the fight.
The advantage Tate had was the stand-up.
Yeah.
And she showed it, but, to Rousey's credit, though, she
held
her own. She even landed some good shots, too, but then was just able to take – anytime she wanted to take Tate down, she did.
Yeah.
To Tate's credit, she was able to get back up a couple of times, but still, her judo skills are just.
Yeah, when she got close in the clinch
Nasty.
and she was able to, position herself for those judo throws, and she had that one judo throw that was just.
Yeah.
It was so quick, like you didn't even see it coming until like she was on the ground basically, and she landed 43 strikes in that first round, to Tate's 11, and that's the most strikes anybody's ever landed on Rousey in a fight. 11.
That's crazy. Rousey's gonna be she's gonna probably have that belt for a long time, and she's gonna fight the former champion Sarah Kaufman, who was in a great fight herself too.
Did you see that fight?
Against, Alexis Davis.
That was fight of the night.
That was fight of the night, and the
It
women,
was a slugfest.
the ladies definitely stole the show that night.
Absolutely.
Those are two great fights, and the Kaufman Davis fight was great. So I like to see if Tate. Because I don't think Tate's arm actually was broken. I mean, to Tate's credit, she said, it's a little sore.
You don't think that was broken?
I don't know.
I don't know the way that looks.
So who knows how long she's going to be out. But she should probably fight Davis, and then Rousey would be fighting Kaufman for the title. But
that first armbar she put her in,
I don't know how she got it.
I thought her arm was broken.
So did
it looked like... And then the
she
second
got
one...
up and was still throwing punches with it.
I know, but with that second one, when she turned her and just looked.
They kept showing the replay over and over again, and it just.
It looked like your arm should not bend that way.
Arms are not made to bend that way at all.
Not at all. And that's now 8 victories for Rousey, all coming by armbar.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. You know it's coming. It doesn't matter. You can't stop it.
Can't stop it. When she gets a hold of one of your limbs, it's bad news for you.
It is. Well, listen, again, credit to the ladies. They put on a great show, both of those fights. And, Rousey, I think, is going to have that belt for a while.
Oh, absolutely. And like we said, now sets up a match for her with Sarah Kaufman, former champion. And Thompson, we said, most likely he's going to be getting
fighting a title
shot against Melendez. Masaki.
That'll probably be like a #1 contender fight if he does end up fighting Safadine.
Yeah, I would like to see that maybe as a #1 contender because, like we said, Marquardt Woodley will be fighting for that vacant title eventually.
Yeah, who knows when it's going to happen.
We don't
eventually. Yeah.
We don't know when that's going to happen. So, I mean, we can get into we got a little bit of time if you want to get into a little pretender-contender.
Oh, that's my favorite part. Let's do it.
For the UFC fights and the Strikeforce fights.
Sure.
Let's go Costas Philippou, pretender-contender, Frank.
Well, certainly his most impressive win came on Friday night. 3 wins in a row. I can't put him as a contender just yet, though. I'd like to see him like a striker versus striker matchup against either a Kung Lee or the winner, Brian Stan, Sakara. So I'm going to go at the moment as a pretender, but certainly he could be a contender.
Yeah, he's got 3 victories now in the middleweight division. I'd like to see one more top-level victory, and then I'll put him...
Get those top guys. You got Munoz, Sonnen, Silva. I can't, throw them. So I want to see
one more top-level victory.
He showed great takedown defense, great striking. Let's see if he can do it again against another top-level type opponent.
If he gets another top-level victory, yeah, he's definitely a contender in that division. Court McGee, pretender-contender. Little setback.
First loss, 3-1 now in the UFC. I think, though, the future is very bright for McGee.
Absolutely.
I think, in a year or so, we'll be talking about contender for McGee. But right now, I have to go pretender.
Yeah, I'll agree. He's a pretender for right now. Couple of months training, get back on that treadmill, as they would say. And
They say that? Who said that? I've never heard that.
I don't know. People say get back on the treadmill, Tony, help me out over here, Tony. You're not doing anything over there.
Yeah, I hear them about the treadmills and how you should get back on them.
Whatever. He's got
to get back to work.
Yeah, he's got to get back to the winning side.
Well put. Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving, Frank. We got Thiago Alves, pretender-contender.
Thiago Alves, less than a minute away from a big win, got submitted. Can't give him a contender for that. He's going to be pretender. Like I said, though, I'd love to see him go against Diego. The winner of that then jumps back into contention. But right now, again, I'll have to go pretender.
Yeah, he's a pretender for now after that loss. But with a victory in that welterweight division, that puts you right back up into contendership. Martin Kampmann, you got him as a contender?
Oh, yeah, huge win for Kampmann. You look at it, all the split decision to Shields. If it went the other way, he would have been fighting for the title. Close loss to Diego. Now a couple of big wins against Rick Story and now Thiago Alves. So, yeah, I would like to see him fight now Ellenberger. And, yeah, you'd have to go contender for Kampmann.
Absolutely. He's a contender in that welterweight division, which is stacked, and that's something to say, be a contender in that division.
Not too long ago, you thought that was maybe one of the weaker divisions, but a lot of guys have stepped up their game.
Absolutely.
It's definitely stacked.
Out of nowhere. Contenders showed up out of nowhere in that division, and it's awesome.
Kampmann is a very dangerous fighter, and, yeah, absolutely contender.
All right, we're going to have to wrap this up now, Frank. It was a short pretender contender segment,
It
but
was, but at least
we
we
didn't
got
have that many fighters to do.
It's true. So we got some of them in though.
Yeah, we got some of them in. And coming up on our next show, if you're wondering, there's no UFC events, no Strikeforce
We got a
events.
little layoff now. We got like a
What are they
month.
going to talk about?
Plenty of stuff, plenty of things.
We
Come
know
on.
everything. We know everything in the
I'm gonna go
sports
that
world.
far. I don't know if we know everything, but we know a lot.
I know bowling,
We're not gonna be
golf.
talking bowling.
We're not going to be talking that, but
We
I
won't be
know
talking
it.
that.
Billiards.
We got
We
some
got March Madness coming
March
up,
Madness, some NFL free agency to talk about. And
so
also
be ready for it.
some
Curling.
matches that are getting made.
Curling. I love curling.
Might be talking